Hello! Today's day 3 of this trip, so I'm gonna go to this little secluded area called Yelapa, which is supposed to be less touristy. I have no idea how to get there, but we'll find out. Concierge will be helpful, so stay tuned. I headed over to Boca de Tomatan, which is this cute little area to take a water taxi to Yelapa. There was a local bakery, so I actually picked up a few pastries to try out as I was waiting, and then got onto this boat. I honestly think one of my favorite parts of this trip was this 30-minute boat ride because I was truly so happy. Blasting music through my AirPods, looking out into the beautiful ocean, feeling the breeze smack my face. We dropped off folks at another small town and then finally arrived at Yelapa itself. I laid by the water under one of those little umbrellas, had a shrimp dish, a coconut that single-handedly changed me from a coconut appreciator to a coconut lover. It was honestly so sweet and tasty. I walked around for a little bit by the coast, befriended these two gals who were on a backpacking trip across Mexico. Yelapa is actually known for their banana pie and cute little neighborhoods, but I ended up just reading around the beach instead. Next time though, I am not forgetting about those banana pies, and I'm definitely going to explore the little town behind the coast area. I began to head back to PV and tried a taco from a street vendor. I would give it probably a 3.5 or 4 stars out of 5. Then I waited in line for 45 minutes to try out Pancho's tacos. I originally didn't want to because the locals said it wasn't worth it, but I think it was. I tried several different taco places each day, and it was my favorite in PV, especially their pastor tacos. I explored the area afterwards, and it was so lively. There was music everywhere, people were having a good time. There were areas where you could pick up little knickknacks for friends and family. I think I picked up a magnet or two for my aunt.
The sky I see deep in your eyes, a lonely road, light the fire. I know that we are.
Then I spontaneously decided to go karaoke. Mind you, I'm still solo traveling, so I'm up there on the stage singing by myself in pretty much an empty karaoke bar because it was still, I think, probably 8 p.m., but it was really fun, and I befriended a ton of folks. The next day, I decided to trek out to San Sebastian, a really quiet yet colorful town about an hour and a half away from PV. It's designated as one of the Pueblo Mágicos, which is a magical town of Mexico, meaning it's maintained its original architecture, traditions, history, and culture since 1605. And of course, I mostly went because it was known for handmade tortillas and good food. The first stop was a small restaurant with 2 of the sweetest ladies running what felt like a home that just happened to serve food. They made everything by hand. They offered me some zucchini soup and it was so good. It may be one of the reasons I actually go back to San Sebastian. They grew the zucchinis themselves in the mountain. While I was eating, a part of me just wanted to stay, work at one of these restaurants, learn how to make the food, and wander the mountains. So the polar opposite of my corporate lifestyle. After eating, I wandered around, may have sang hallelujah in their church because of the beautiful acoustics and the fact that there was no one there. San Sebastian felt honestly so different from PV, with limited tourists, no crowds. I headed back to Puerto Vallarta and explored a new area this evening, the marina. I went to an outdoor market where I tried elote in a cup, corn cake, and a tamale, lots of corn. This market pops up weekly, I think, for a few months out of the year, and it was just really fun to walk around. I wandered for a little bit through different vendors and soaking in all the energy. It was just a beautiful sunset this night as well.
When the wine was flowing free and your demons fell asleep, I know
In my last few days, I relaxed by the beach in literally room temperature weather, read my books. Then I had to revisit my two favorite restaurants, Pancho's Tacos and Balam Balam. This time though, when I got to Pancho's Tacos, I only got their pastor ones because they were much, much better than their carne asada ones. And remember the story of the Canadian couple and the owner of the Balam Balam restaurant? Turns out the man doesn't even remember me, and I have a whole vlog about his story. I made one last quick trip to Aurora, which a lot of locals suggested for tacos. Saw this sunset, beautiful once again. I heard some outdoor music as I was walking around, so I eventually just plopped myself down at a cafe and journaled for a bit, listening to folks sing. Overall, I felt very peaceful, both wanting to go back into real life, but also not wanting to go back into real life. Some reflections after this trip. As per Ginny vlog style, I re-experienced Sonder, technically defined as the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own. This was mostly driven by learning about people's stories, so different from mine. 2. Solo travel was good, but ultimately I'm a people person. I want to share my experiences with friends and family, so I'm not sure if I'll do many more solo trips. 3. I felt immensely grateful for all the pieces of my life that allowed me to go on this trip to de-stress from work. Also, on a side note, I really need to get my Spanish up to speed. I almost majored in it in college, so it was pretty fluent, but man oh man, this girl's Spanish is basically non-existent. Thank you so much for coming on